Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're excited to be talking about the IQ4 NS. Very exciting webinar. This is a product that I am extremely excited about. Before we jump into the content, before I turn the time over to Jason and Oliver here, I want to take care of a few housekeeping items. So first and foremost, want to let everybody know that this webinar is being recorded. So after the webinar is over, we'll download it and upload it to YouTube. So if you need to go back and reference anything that we discussed here, or you need to send it on to your coworker that couldn't make it, just hop on YouTube, search Qualsys, and it should be one of the first videos uploaded. Our next housekeeping item, if this is your first time joining us, first time using the GoToWebinar platform, welcome. We want you to know that this is a place where you can ask questions. In the background, we have Neil, Joel, and Mark, three very smart guys answering questions. So ask any questions you have throughout the broadcast. If we do get inundated with questions, sometimes we can't reply to all of them. We will make sure we follow up and get your questions answered. So please, please, please interact with us, drop questions in there. And just so that you can get familiar with that question section, I want everybody to drop in where they're calling in from. We've got some veterans in here that have already beat me to the punch. They've already started to let us know they're here. We've got Joe from Central Mississippi. Thanks, Joe, for being on the ball. We've got Jacob from Apex, North Carolina. We got Bob from Kingston, Ontario. Andrew from Edmonton. Brian from Atlanta. Tons of people popping in here. I wish I could shout all of you guys out. We want to tell you that we appreciate you being here. We know that you're busy individuals, so we appreciate you giving your 30 minutes today to come chat with us. So we've got kind of those housekeeping items. Oh no, one more important detail. We are giving away 5 IQ4 NSs. So after this webinar is done, we'll download a report, and then we just throw everybody's name into a random name generator, and the first 5 that pop up are the winners. So if you do win one of those 5 IQ4 NS products, you'll receive an email from Will Hackett. He'll reach out to you and let you know that you're the winner. Please get him your information in a timely manner so that we can get everybody their prizes as soon as we possibly can. And with that, I think I hit all the housekeeping items. We want to jump into some poll questions. So please answer these poll questions. They help us to understand how we can better serve you, how we can better support you in the partnerships that we have. So first question here, which IQ panels are you currently offering to your customers? And you can select as many that apply to you. So you're offering IQ Panel 4, IQ4 Hub, IQ Pro, and are you planning on offering IQ4 and S? Great. A lot of IQ Panel 4s out there. We love to hear it. All right, give you guys another couple seconds here to wrap that poll question up. Awesome. Thank you so much for that question. The next question we have here is, are you currently offering your customers a good, better, best option? So when it comes to kind of the offering, are you offering them a solution where there's a good panel, a better panel, and a best option? All right, just a couple more seconds. Thank you all so much for participating in these polls. It's huge, the information we're able to gather here to better serve you guys. All right, our next question here is, do you typically use the panel UI to arm and disarm your panel, or are you mostly using the alarm.com app? Great, thank you all so much for voting on that one. Bear with me, we're almost done here with the poll questions. This next question is, how often would you say the cost of the panel is an objection at the time of sale? So how often are you battling that objection of price? All righty, awesome. Thank you all so much. And this next poll question is meant to draw attention to the handout section as well. So in the handout section, we have some marketing materials for the IQ4 NS, and we wanted to ask this question. So I'm a part of the dealer marketing team. We want to know if you would like us to brand those IQ4 NS documents with your branding, your colors. If you say yes, I'll be reaching out to you, and then we can get that stuff customized for you so you can go and deploy it to your customers. So just give you guys a couple more seconds to finish this poll question. All right, beautiful. Thank you guys so much for those poll questions. Like I said, it's extremely valuable that we're able to understand where you guys are at. That being said, I want to turn the time over to our phenomenal presenters. You guys are in for a treat. Jason and Oliver, two of the best dudes I've ever met, are going to be presenting today. So Jason and Oliver, I will turn the time over to you guys.
Awesome, thank you, Bo. Very excited to talk about the IQ4NS today. This is a new panel that we've had in the works for a little while. We've gotten a lot of feedback over the years. We love the panel, we love the IQ panel, whether it was the 2 or the 4, but you know, we want a cheaper alternative. We want a cheaper option, right? A lot of our dealers do offer a good, better, best option. And you know, there are certain verticals where maybe you don't need all the features of the premium IQ Panel 4. So this is something we've been working on for a little while. I'm very excited to take you guys through this today. A lot of exciting things here. So I just want to start with this message. If you've attended any of our webinars recently, if you showed up to ISC West or ESX, you would have noticed this big wall that we had, or this message that we've been sharing, which is the one platform message. This is kind of the direction that we're heading as a company. This is really exciting for me, especially coming from the dealer world. I've been an installer most of my career. This is really cool because what we're doing here is standardizing all of our panels on one single platform, right? What does that mean? That means that whether you're doing an 800 square foot apartment building or a 50,000 square foot commercial building, you get to install one panel with one programming language, one UI, one set of devices that are compatible, you know, the same alarm.com integrations across the board. This just makes it really simple for our dealers to offer different panels without having to train everybody on something new. You know, most dealers offer a residential panel, for example, and then their commercial panel is something totally different, right? And you have commercial installers and residential installers, and the resi guys aren't doing the commercial installs because they don't know, and the commercial guys are maybe too busy to do any residential installs, or maybe they don't know the residential panel. And so it kind of can make things difficult. What we're doing here is we're creating a panel for every vertical, right? Whether it's cheap MDU, small apartment complexes, all the way up to commercial. One platform, one programming language, right? So you can put a residential guy on a commercial panel without any training. You can put a commercial guy on a residential panel without any training. Why? Because they're the same panel. They program the same. They're basically identical. A good example of this, I have a dealer in California that does the IQ Panel 4. They're very familiar with the IQ Panel 4, had never touched our new IQ Panel Pro, which is our kind of high-end residential commercial panel. We sent them an IQ Pro, did no training for them. They went out, they installed it, they came back, they said they loved it, it went great, had no issues. That residential tech went and did a commercial install without any training because the commercial panel was basically identical to our IQ Panel 4. So this one platform just makes everything easy for our dealers from a training perspective, from a you know, one throat to choke perspective, one tech support, one programming language. Again, all of the devices that we support are compatible across the board here. So we're excited today to talk about one more panel that we're adding to this lineup, and that is the IQ Panel NS. We recently launched IQ Pro. That was kind of going up market into commercial. Today we're going to talk about going down market a little bit, a cheaper alternative to the IQ Panel 4, a more cost-effective solution, and again, that is the IQ Panel 4 NS. What does NS stand for? You can guess it. No screen, right? This is an IQ panel without a screen, right? Pretty simple. Anything to add, Oliver?
Well, yeah, you said it earlier when you mentioned after ISC West, there was a big buzz around this panel, and it's because it checks that last box, in my opinion. You know, I've had dealers for a long time say, hey, I'd like to start with a very base offering and add in layers. So we can start with an automation panel only, an automation hub, and then add, and you'll see when we show how this thing's launching to distribution, you can have a automation panel and then add RF sensor daughter cards a la carte. And you can start with our S line, and then if somebody adds an outbuilding, throw a Power G daughter card on top of it. I mean, that's the beauty of it. And dealers said, you know what, you need that offering. And you know, Bo's been involved, you know, who started this presentation. He's been involved with one of the dealers that sees this panel as a semi-self-installed DIY option. A number of other dealers have seen this as the perfect offering to start in their builder programs with an automation hub that can be turned into an alarm panel very simply and easily. Just a consistency across the entire platform. You said it.
Yeah, exactly right. Now, one of the questions we get most is, well, the panel doesn't have a screen. How are we supposed to operate it, right? And the answer to that is alarm.com. I thought it was interesting, the poll we ran, you know, we asked you guys, do you go to your panel to arm and disarm and things like that, or are you using the app? And I think it was almost 70% of you said you almost always use the app. And we're starting to get that feedback more and more that I don't even use the panel screen anymore. We just do everything from the app. Everything's driven from smartphones nowadays. We just use the app. So this panel is 100% managed from the alarm.com app. So for your customers, they're going to arm, they're going to disarm, they're going to run all of the automation, everything using the alarm.com app. So this is giving you the option now to put the panel in a closet. Whether it's commercial or residential, we no longer need to mount this in some location that's by the front door, by the back door, or the garage door. You can put it really anywhere you want and just let the customer run this from the alarm.com app, right? Oliver, you had some dealers that were basically asking for this, I think recently, and this is feedback that we're starting to get more and more, right?
Without a doubt. Dealers say they have a new generation of customer. They want an alarm panel installed. They want it to they have automation, Z-Wave, lights, locks, thermostats, everything operating because a professional installer has set up rules and things that happen in the background. And they can control this system with smart devices, phones, tablets, and you don't necessarily need to see it. So it can be upsold without necessarily everything being seen, right? Or touched. They can just have it at the tip of their fingers with their smart devices. So yeah, it feeds that next generation customer without a doubt.
Yeah. Now we also get a lot of questions. Okay, so it doesn't have a screen. How does it compare to the IQ Panel 4 and IQ Panel 4 Hub, right? As we all know, the IQ4 Hub is kind of a cost down version of IQ4. We lose a couple of features. We lose the camera, a couple of the speakers. We lose a second RF radio on the panel. I think for the most part, 4 Hub's been out for a while. I think everybody's pretty familiar with that. IQ4NS is just a step down from the IQ4 Hub. It is basically an IQ4 Hub without a screen. So here's a little snapshot of what it does and doesn't do compared to the IQ Panel 4 and the 4 Hub and the IQ Panel 4. This comparison chart is on our website. So if you want to go to Qualsys.com, click on the no screens panel, scroll to the bottom, you can see this comparison chart. But so you can see, we'll just go through this real quickly. You can see for the most part, it does almost everything. I mean, of course, we lose a screen. That's the first thing that it doesn't have compared to the other panels. That's pretty simple. This panel is only going to ship with one daughter card, one RF daughter card in it. So similar to the IQ Panel 4 Hub, it's only going to ever ship with one frequency, one wireless frequency. So you will, and then we're going to talk about the automation only version here in a minute, but like our other panels, you'll choose the SKU of panel based on the language, the frequency, the wireless frequency that you want it to speak, right? We lose music streaming. I don't think that's a big deal. We've gotten rid of some microphones on the panel. We're not doing, because there's no screen, we're not doing two-way audio with the doorbell anymore, with the alarm.com camera, stuff like that. So those microphones weren't necessary. We of course lose the panel camera, right? We don't need that, especially where we think for the majority of the time this will be stuck in a closet or somewhere out of sight, out of mind. We lose the panel glass break detector for that same reason, because it will probably not be mounted in a main area of the home. Panel motion detector as well, since we don't have the panel camera in it. It's not compatible with the IQ Panel base speaker. As I mentioned, we don't do music streaming on this, and it will only come in white. We're not doing a black version of this. To continue that a little bit, of course, from a software perspective, we lose any feature that would come with the screen. So live view, live answer, right? Being able to view those doorbell cameras from the screen obviously is not supported. No photo frame on the panel with no screen. We go from 4 speakers down to 1, and then we have a piezo in there for sirens. And then we lose two-way voice because we don't have the microphones. And again, this will likely be placed in a closet. So we're really not losing much here. It's still a full UL certified, security panel. 1023-985. So it can be installed in both residential and commercial locations. But again, because it's going to be installed likely in a closet or out of sight, out of mind, some of those features aren't necessary. But it's going to, otherwise it supports everything else that an IQ Panel 4 or IQ Panel 4 Hub would support. So it's again a fully UL certified security system. You guys may have seen this recently, right? The press announcement went out recently. It is officially announced. We are launching this, I think, the week of the 22nd, I think it is, August 22nd. So we are excited that this will be hitting the market here pretty soon. You likely saw our announcement in the email. But in that press announcement, there is a list of SKUs, and I kind of wanted to talk about this because we're introducing something new here as well. I mentioned that this panel will ship with a single RF daughter card. So you either choose whether it's Power G, 319.5, 345, or 433, right? You can order that panel, that SKU, based on how you want it. But if you'll notice here, we also have a SKU for automation only. That means that we are selling this panel without any security daughter card in the panel, meaning it only supports Z-Wave, right? We have a lot of dealers that do automation only hubs, right? They don't need the security in the panel. They only want to run Z-Wave. So we'll sell you this panel without any security radios in it. That reduces the cost to you, right? You're not paying for a RF radio that maybe you're not using. We also see this playing really well in certain verticals. So for example, we have some big multifamily customers that use our panel in big apartment complexes really only to control a thermostat, maybe a door lock, right, for property management purposes. The property manager wants to be able to lock the door after a tenant moves, change the codes, adjust the air, let a maintenance guy in, that kind of thing. But they're not always offering full security. And if you're using an IQ Panel 4 or an IQ Panel 4 hub, you're paying for that security radio and you're not using it, right? So if you are involved with any of those installs, this allows you to get into those jobs, those big multifamily jobs, without fronting the cost of a screen that maybe isn't being used, or a RF daughter card that's not being used. We also think this will play really well in builder, right? A lot of our customers that are working in the builder vertical, as you guys may or may not know, you're kind of fronting the cost of the system, right? You're putting the system in the home, and then once the person moves into the home, you're going and trying to convert that person to a paid contract. Well, there's a percentage of those customers that you'll never convert. So you're kind of losing money on those customers, right? You're fronting the cost of the system, and if you don't convert the customer, then it's kind of a wasted cost. So this just allows you to get into that same builder vertical for lower cost. It lowers that cost barrier of entry, right? You can still put the panel in the home, still offer the automation packages, run your door locks, your lights, your thermostats, all that kind of stuff. And then if the customer chooses to upgrade to security, you can pop in a security card. So if you look at the list of SKUs here, you'll also notice that we have now individual SKUs for our RF daughter cards. So if customer decides they want to upgrade to security, you can pop in a 319 daughter card. Maybe it's a 345 daughter card, maybe it's a 433 daughter card, maybe you want to go Power G. You can pop in that daughter card. We have these daughter cards as individual SKUs now. They snap into the panel in 30 seconds, and you've got full support for security now. So this allows you to get into some of those markets without fronting the cost of the security radio. And if you need security after the fact, order a daughter card from us, snap it in, and you're off to the races, right? The opposite is true, right? We have dealers that are really excited about maybe standardizing on a Power G no screen panel, and then if they go into a home that has some existing 319 sensors or some existing 345 sensors, rather than either stocking a separate panel or separate SKU, or even using a Lula translator or something like that, you can just pull a daughter card out the truck, snap it in, 345, take over their 2 gig devices, take over their DSC devices, and it's just going to make things a lot easier, and it's going to allow us to maybe save some money on using a third-party translator. So this modular daughter card approach is really exciting. I think this is going to allow our dealers to win more business with less money up front, and it's just going to allow our technicians to be a little more nimble. We don't have to stock different panels, different SKUs on the truck. We can stock one panel, stock a couple of these daughter cards on the truck, and pop them in as necessary. So again, this panel, so it is announced. You've got all this information in the email. It's all on our website. We are taking pre-orders now, so submit your orders. This again is getting launched here at the end of the month, and I think inventory typically starts showing up to distribution about a month after that. So if you're excited and want to order a panel, I would say get your orders in now. Anything to add, Oliver?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the flexibility and offering, right? Dealer can start with a Power G panel and add a legacy daughter card to take over some existing sensors. I also like to say, and I tell dealers all the time, because builders like to market their homes as technology homes, right? You're starting out with that automation panel only, but you can also tell the builder, hey, we're offering your customer something that another dealer probably can't do. We can throw in a Power G daughter card, and we can hit, if they add a pool house, if they add outbuildings, we can put in that Power G card, and then our range takes over. And market that as future-proofing a job site, future-proofing that home. it fits right in with that technology home that, it's not something every dealer can offer if they can't offer Power G add-on, right? So, dealers, I think they're very good at selling product, but not always as good at selling themselves. They're professional installers versus a DIY, and, tout, that they've provided a product that can be scaled. It can be scaled and when it comes to pricing, and scaled when it comes to technology. So, yeah. And that's what the starting with a base with that automation only panel does for you here. So I love the way we're launching this product.
Yeah, the other thing I like about this is this allows you to get into the home without maybe covering the cost of a screen yourself, right? If the customer, especially if it's an automation play where you're starting with automation only, if the customer decides to upgrade to security and they want a screen, you get to kind of shift the cost of that screen that maybe you'd otherwise be paying for in an IQ Panel 4 to the customer, right? And by adding a secondary keypad, right? Customer wants to upgrade to security, they want a screen, you get to sell them a secondary panel now with a screen if that's what you want to do. And again, just allows you to get into these jobs with less money up front, right? So the next question is, well, what secondary keypads do we support, right? As I mentioned, all of our panels basically support everything in our portfolio. So the NS does support the original IQ remote, the Wi-Fi remote. It supports the new IQ remote Power G. Of course, it supports any of our Power G keypads. But we also thought, NS is meant to be kind of a cheap entry-level panel, right? It kind of defeated the purpose to put an NS in a home and then turn around and pay for a really expensive 7-inch touchscreen IQ remote Power G. So something else that we're working on, I'll give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek here. More to come on this towards the end of the year, but we're getting ready to launch our low-cost Power G keypad as well. This is a screenless secondary keypad. It's a capacitive touch keypad. It's really good looking. It's very small. It runs on battery completely. We've got about a 3-year battery life on it, and it's designed for low cost, right? So now, if you're needing to offer a cheaper alternative to the full-on IQ Panel 4 with a Power G secondary, this is a great solution. You've got the IQ Panel NS, put it in the closet. You still need somewhere to arm and disarm from somewhere else in the home, but you don't want to go to the full 7-inch touchscreen secondary keypads. You want something maybe a little more modernized than some of the Power G rubber button keypads we have. This is your option, right? This is a secondary capacitive touch keypad. You can pair up to 5 of these to the system, and this is something that we'll be launching a little bit later this year. So a little sneak peek on this one. A lot more information to come, but this pairs really well with the NS because it was designed to be low cost, just like the NS was designed to be low cost. So we're excited about this keypad. Again, more to come on this one.
And our dealers know with being a Power G keypad, they can pretty much put this anywhere. So
yes,
not only low cost, it can go anywhere. Yep,
exactly right. Now, I wanted to spend a few minutes on some of the differentiators between IQ Panel 4, IQ Panel 4 Hub, and the IQ4 NS, right? We don't have a screen. How are we getting notifications across to you? How do we know if a system's tampered? How do we know if something has a low battery, right? That kind of thing. So I just wanted to briefly overview some of the changes, some of the things that IQ4 NS supports because we don't have a screen. So the power button is used for more than just power on IQ4 NS. So as you can see here, if you press the power button down once while the system is disarmed, it will announce your alarms and troubles. This reminds me of the old Simon XT. You hit the status button and it would list off everything that's going on, right? The system has a low battery, this is tampered, something's lost of supervision, right? So we can get real-time status updates from the panel by hitting the button on the side of on the side of the panel, and it will list off the status of the system, right? So I wanted to call that out because that's different. That's different from any of our other panels, right? So if you're at the panel, in front of the panel, you need to get a notification on what's going, a status update, hit that power button on the side. You'll notice here too that one thing we're going to talk about here is how to program it. That's another question we get as well. Without a screen, how do we do our programming? We're going to get to that next. You'll notice here on the bottom, if we hit the power button twice on the side, it's going to put our panel into a pairing mode for our IQ installer interface. I'm going to talk about that here in 2 slides. The other thing that's a little bit different from IQ4 NS and any of our other panels are the status lights that we have on the top of the panel. So a little bit different from other panels. We have 2 status indicators at the top. This you know, depending on the color of the LED, we're telling you something, we're giving you information, right? So without going through this line by line, you can kind of see that the power LED, if it's solid green, it's powered on. If it's blinking, it's battery only. Of course, if it's off, the panel's off, right? The status LED gives us additional information as well. Solid green means it's disarmed, ready to go. Flashing green means that it's ready to arm, but there's open zones. Orange means that there's a trouble in the system. Flashing orange means RF jam, right? And so on and so on. So I just wanted to call out these two things because none of our other panels quite work like this. These are things that are unique to IQ4NS. So I wanted to call those out. This is in the manual, so you guys can go back and get this information, which is on our website, by the way, if you want to dive into that. Now, back to the other probably more popular question that we get about IQ4NS is how do you program the dang thing, right? Well, if you're familiar with IQ Pro programs using our installer interface, right? And that's the same thing for IQ4NS. We have an installer interface that you can download, put on your phone, both iOS and Android, and you can program your panel from your phone. So I'm going to show you real quick, do a quick demo of how this works. Let me just switch to my visor here. I think you guys are seeing that here. Perfect. So I'm actually going to open up my installer interface here. Okay. I'm going to hit start on the bottom, and it's going to open up a screen asking you for the serial and the IMEI. Now I can manually type this in, or even better, even faster, I can hit scan QR code. It's going to open up my camera. I've got an IQ4NS here. If you turn this thing around, you'll see there's a QR code on the bottom. I'm just going to scan that QR code. It's going to input the serial and IMEI information. I'm going to hit continue. Okay, it's going to give me a little information here. As I mentioned on the manual, it shows tap the power button twice, and it will put the panel into pairing mode. Okay. The NS is going to announce that it's turning on the access point so that we can connect the installer interface to the panel. I'm actually going to get a blue status LED on the panel. Once I get that blue light, I can hit continue. It's going to ask me to join the panel's access point. I'm going to hit join. Okay. It's going to connect, my phone's actually going to connect to the panel's access point. And when it does, it will ask me for my installer or dealer code. Oh, for some reason, there it goes. It's pairing to the panel here. And we'll give this a second. And now the cool thing about this installer interface is it's laid out almost identical to the IQ Panel 4 itself. So you actually don't need to really know how this works. It's very familiar. It's the same. Let me try that one more time. Hit continue. So it's the layout's almost identical to the IQ Panel, right? So once you get into the installer interface, you'll see how familiar it is to the IQ Panel 4, right? The menus are the same. The test menu is the same. Everything's laid out the same. So the flow is going to be identical to the IQ Panel. The menus are the same. The layout is the same. The same way you pair a sensor in IQ Panel 4, the same way that you pair a sensor to a power G sensor, an automation sensor. It's all the same. We're just doing it now from our installer interface. Okay. So once it asked me for my installer ID, I entered that, and now we're into our dashboard here. Now there's a lot of information in here. I can drop down this menu, and I can see what software version the panel's on. I can see that the battery is charged. It's at 100%. I'm not currently connected to Wi-Fi. Cellular data is good. AC power is connected, right? So I get some good information here. But if I click down here on the left to events, this is a full history, right? Oh, there's my my free visor notification. Oh, is it going to kick me out? Nope. Okay. So this history here just tells me everything that's going on with the system, a complete panel history. If I click down here on configuration, this is where it gets familiar, right? This same menu layout is what we see in IQ Panel 4. So user management, installation, about. I can come in here and click and see, what software version I'm on, right? Just like IQ Panel 4. I can back out of this. Hopefully you guys can see that little dot. I can click into the installation menu, and just like the IQ panels, you'll notice we've got devices, dealer settings, logs, sirens, alarms, security and arming. If I click into devices, here's where all my pairing happens from. So this is laid out just like the IQ panel. If I come down here and click on system tests, you guys will notice we've got all the same system tests that we have on the main panel. I can run a cell test from here, a Wi-Fi test, dual path test. I can go in and view my RF information. I can run a daughter card test, right? So it's laid out just like an IQ Panel 4. So if you're familiar with the programming in an IQ Panel 4, you can open up this installer interface and program probably without any training, right? And that's the example I gave at the beginning of the call. We sent an IQ Pro, which uses the same installer interface, to a dealer, no training. He did his install, said he loved it, went smooth, really awesome. So that was a quick demo. I understand that was a little quick, but I wanted to make sure that we gave you guys a quick demo of what that looks like and how that flows. Go ahead.
Well, no, hey, they sent one to me before, an IQ Pro to me before GSX last year, and Joel, who's also on this call answering questions, I said, hey, where's the install guide? He said, no, hey, use the QR code, scan it, use the installer interface, see how it goes. And yeah, I'm a sales guy. I had that thing programmed in within 15 minutes. So the NS uses the same interface, super easy, just as easy as you just showed it. So as you just demoed.
Yeah. Awesome.
Great. Yeah, we are at time. Jason, Oliver, thank you so much for the information. I learned a bunch, and we appreciate that. Really quick, I want to launch one last poll question and then talk a little bit more about our giveaway. So really quickly, after learning about the IQ4 NS, I need. So in this statement, what do you need? Do you need more technical training? Do you need more training on how to sell it? Do you need more marketing resources? Or are you ready to go and buy this from distribution when it's ready to buy? Give you guys a couple more seconds to do this last poll. All righty, we will wrap that up. Thank you all so much for your participation. So the giveaway, giving away 5 IQ4 NS systems. We will download a report from everybody that attended today, put it into a random name generator. The first 5 people that pop up are the ones that win. And if you do win, you will receive an email from Will Hackett, and he will reach out and get your information. We have a webinar next week talking about the new 4.4 software. Please attend. If you registered and you attended here today, you're already registered for next week. Please attend. That's going to be awesome. 4.4 is going to be really great. And also there will be an after workshop survey. So if you can take that really quick and let us know how we did, we would greatly appreciate it. And with that, we will wrap it up and let you get back to your day. Thank you once again for being here. Thank you, Oliver. Thank you, Jason, and everybody have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.